context engineering versus prompt engineering. What's the difference? So back in the old days of ChatGPT and the first wave of public LLMs, we talked a lot about prompt engineering, and this was putting a single prompt in that was often very detailed to help the model understand what it was you wanted it to do. And this got pretty complicated very quickly, that you would put these very, very long prompts in there, we get more and more complicated over time, and it was a very inefficient way to use them. It's a great way to test them and to play with them, but as an approach to actually use them in business, it didn't work. So the idea of context engineering is that context is the model then knows what it is you want and the relevant information it should draw for its sources. So the problem with LLMs isn't that they don't know enough. It's that they know too much. These things have been trained on every bit of data these companies can get their hands on. So the problem is when you then go to it and say, write me a post, make me a picture, tell me about this, it doesn't know where it should draw that data from, and it guesses. And these are guessing engines. They're looking for the next word in a sequence. They are looking for what patterns are most likely to be the one you want. So when we talk about context engineering versus prompt engineering, the idea is you are training the model on the data you want it to look at. So this might be your personal data, it might be your personal style of writing, for example. It might be key information about your business and how you operate and who your target audience is. The idea is then that the prompt engineering side, the actual talking to the model directly and requesting an action, becomes much simpler, because rather than saying one of these massive prompts where you break it down step by step and you give it this huge instruction every time, the actual prompt becomes much less because you've trained it on the context. Now, if you're familiar with the FIRED framework, things like the flattening, the I am, the you are, and the rules, these all in effect move into the context engineering side. So they are what you are telling the model it should always do and it should always understand. And then the do this, the final step of what was the FIRED prompt engineering framework, is really the bit of prompt engineering now. The rest is going into this context and telling the model the rails in which it's to work and making those as standard things, so that if you're a business, if you're doing this repeatedly, which is what you want to be using AI for, to take rid of those repeated boring tasks, it understands those all the time. And when you do that, your process and your workflow becomes much smoother and much faster and much more efficient. So that's really the difference. Context engineering is about telling the model what it should know and what's relevant to you as a overall. And then the prompt engineering is just the action of what you want it to do. And this idea of single shot prompting is really only works when you have